Greetings, everyone. This is a quick review of the Arlo Go mobile HD security cam or camera for use as a trail cam or game camera. I have a game management ranch in South Texas where we raise and produce quality whitetails, and I thought this would be a handy tool to add to my tool belt in terms of using to video or capture images of the deer at various feeder stations and check on their quality and see how I can improve upon my nutrition programs. Prior to making this purchase, there's some other videos online on YouTube that talk about using the Arlo Go camera as a game camera, and they actually show some images with some deer and I think some turkey too. Only thing I can say is that those deer and turkey must have been about 6 inches away from the front lens of the camera when those images were taken, because at any distance the quality falls off dramatically and you will be disappointed in terms of the ability to really view and observe wildlife, or in essence use this camera as a game cam. There are also other problems that exist in terms of its just overall planning. Again, I think this would probably be an excellent camera as a front door or around the house security camera, which is obviously what it was primarily intended for. But it does only take videos, and you have to capture images from that. You can live with that, and that's not that big of a deal. But there are other problems that are inherent to wanting to use this as a trail cam or game camera. For example, programming in delays between triggered events, such that if you have a bunch of wildlife moving through, or if you have a herd of cows coming through, it's not going to be continuously stacking videos upon top of videos as the game is moving through the area or in front of the camera. It will be chewing up your battery life if you do have a lot of game or other motion in the area that are going to cause the camera to set off. And even with the solar panel that I had attached to it that was made by Arlo as well, I only got several days of useful life before I had to take the camera down and recharge it. So I'll show you some images here that were from and videos of the Arlo camera capture, but all in all, just in summation, this is a great tool, I think, for what it was intended for, is that of a security camera, either at your front door or around your house or compound. But in terms of making applicable use of it in terms of a game camera or trail cam, I think it falls way short, and you have a lot of other better options such as the Spartan Go Cam, which, who knows, maybe I may do a video on that. That's a much better camera for applicability in terms of making good quality photographs of wildlife for purposes of further study. So here I'm going to show you some of the examples that we have, and you can see for yourself what I'm talking about in terms of the comparisons. For this first video I want to tee up here, you'll see it's a bright sunny day. I have the Arlo Go camera mounted on a T-post next to a feeder pen station that we have on the ranch, and those are protein feeders there on the left hand side. And this Arlo Go camera is actually mounted to a driven T-post in the ground, very stable, and next to a raised panel. So you see these white-tailed deer, you see several doe coming in and a fawn coming in, going underneath the raised panel into the feeder pen. And the thing I want to point out is that the camera is only about 8 to 10, maybe 12 feet away from the deer itself, and you'll see I'll go ahead and start it now. You'll see it's very difficult to actually see any definition of the deer. You certainly cannot see their tag numbers that they're wearing in their ear. You see them going underneath. You can see they're healthy, and you get a good indication. But that deer feeder itself in the background is only about, I would say 15 yards away from the camera, and you lose a lot of clarity. You would certainly not be able to tell much definition about those deer whatsoever. Another thing, notice, look at the way the overall image is, that big fishbowl effect, as I call it. I don't know what the true video people would call that, the convex or concave view of the outer images of the video and how it looks relatively obscure. So again, I can tell that they're white-tailed deer. I can get a general feel for them, but again, the clarity isn't very good. So this next video is taken at another feeder pen location. Again, you can see several whitetail very clearly there in the image, but you really don't get a very good clear image of them. You certainly can't read their tag numbers, and it's hard to get any definition of these deer whatsoever. Again, that big doe standing in front of the feeder pen, or the feeder right now, you can see that she's in good shape, but you certainly couldn't read her number if you were interested in cataloging her, as I am, in terms of keeping track of her specifically. So again, you can look at the overall fishbowl effect of the video. And by the way, this camera is set at the highest quality setting that you can set. I think it's called best. I can't really remember right now, but it is at the highest video quality setting. And you can see the overall quality of the video and the images that you get really aren't that good. And that doe right there, that red tag doe standing in front of the feeder right there, is only about 15 feet away from the camera, not very far at all. For comparative purposes, here are several still shots taken by a Spartan Go Cam that I bought to replace the Arlo Go camera, and you can see that these images are much clearer and give much better perspective on the quality of the deer. This first picture here shows a young spike buck with a fawn at a feeder. You can very clearly see the shape of their body condition and see the details of the deer themselves. And this picture was taken at some 15 to 20 yards away in lieu of some 15 feet, as was commonly done with the Arlo camera. The next image here shows very clearly a yellow tagged number 8 deer. This doe here is again in good shape, and you can see the details of her as she's coming through this feeder station. Next image at the same feeder station shows a big sized buck moving through. Again, you can get a very, in low light conditions even, you can still get a very good indication of the shape of this buck. A night shot at the same location, different buck with doe and fawn, again giving a pretty good clarity on what you're seeing at night, and you just can't get these images with the Arlo Go anything near this type of clarity at night. And then here, crossing a sendero, as we call them in South Texas, is a large buck at another location, a big 14-pointer with a drop tine, and even if you zoom in, you can still get good detail and see the quality of this buck. So overall, this camera here is a much better application for game viewing than the Arlo Go. So, in summary, the Arlo Go camera, this HD security camera, is a great device for home security at your front door and around your compound. But as general wildlife viewing, or certainly as a serious trail camera or game cam, it falls short for the reasons that I've described. And I hope this video will prove useful to you in making your judgment to know whether this will fit for your application or not, or whether you should jump to one of the other cameras, such as the Spartan Go Cam that I showed you images of and made reference to in this video. Thank you very much, and have a great day.